Okay, hello. So this is episode 3 of Gift of the Gab. So today what I wanted to be speaking about is the bucket of crabs mentality. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that because I use this concept a lot in my coaching workshops, talks, or courses that I give to automotive companies, construction companies, or food companies in this area where I am now. So I do it online and I also do it face to face. But generally, when I give people this idea or this concept and I explain it, people really connect with it a lot. Now you can look for the bucket of crabs mentality online, like Google it or YouTube it or something like that. A lot of the times the videos won't be very, very long or they won't go into a lot of detail. So for example, I wanted to kind of explain it in the conceptual idea and the general idea, and then also give some examples then for real world application in your personal or professional life then as well. So basically, bucket of crabs. Obviously, if you Google a video of a bucket of crabs, it can be like fishermen off of Maine in a crabbing boat, and they have a big, big bucket of crabs. And when one tries to escape, all of the other crabs then pull it down. So this is very relevant here where I'm living at the moment in Irapuato, Guanajuato, Mexico. But then also it's everywhere in the world. Obviously, because the population is much higher in Mexico than it is in Ireland, where I'm from. It's well, there's far more people to do it, you know. But then in general, the bucket of crabs mentality means when you're getting better than the people around you, that they kind of want to destroy you or pull you back down. Or, for example, basically, the better you get and the more you improve yourself, the more enemies that you have. So I think it's a very, very real and very apt point to talk about. You know, it really, really is. I've had this a lot, and talking to managers of different departments in different industries, for example, production managers in the food industry, in the automotive sector, or in aeronautical sector as well. A lot of people talk about the same thing then as well, that as soon as you get better, as soon as you get a master's degree, as soon as you get a promotion to a manager level, then your amount of enemies really does multiply by nearly 10, for example. So a lot of people really don't care if you're getting better or not. I mentioned this in the previous video, but I wanted to go into more detail here because I really do like it. Now, I'll be adding more graphics and more images over the text, over the video as we go along as well. But basically, it is all about analyzing who is your circle of friends, which is also like the last point that ties into emotional intelligence. But it's also to think about who are the people that I surround myself with? Who are the people that I'm spending a lot of time with in my day-to-day life, in my professional life, and in my personal life then as well? So it's to think about those people and then to step back and observe who those people are. What is their level of education, or what is their vision or outlook for life, or how do they interact with people in general? And to think more about, okay, are these people kind of toxic? Are these people very, very healthy? Or do these people want the best for me? So that's a really important point then as well. Also, I talked about this on my last talk, which was like, okay, if we have 5 people, you should never tell anybody your problems, because 4 out of those 5 people really don't care and 1 person is happy that you have them. So I think that's very, very correct then as well. But obviously, the bucket of crabs mentality makes you think about people in your family. It makes you think about people on your team that maybe you're in charge of, or co-workers that are on the same level as you. So if you're a quality manager, thinking about, okay, the maintenance, manufacturing, production, what else? Logistics, purchasing departments, and thinking about those managers then as well. Obviously, in a professional setting, you don't have to think about trust that much anyway, because it's kind of cutthroat anyway. But I mean, if you're spending a lot of time with people that you work with outside of work, think about your interactions and think about what kind of language they use with you. So talking about my own example then as well, as I've progressed throughout my career, opened my own business, traveled more, or I don't know, improve my life in different ways, the circle of friends that I have has become smaller and smaller. Now that's kind of natural anyway, but then thinking about it in another term then as well, is that the interactions that I had with people that I thought were my friends or were close with me, those interactions kind of started getting a little bit different. So it went from, oh, how are you doing, to how is your business, you know? So I mean, they were more focused about the things that I've achieved and asking me more about that, rather than myself and asking, oh, how are you getting on, or how is everything going? It's more about how is everything going in your business. So those tiny little tweaks tell you a lot about what that person is all about and what are they like, and, you know, are they really your friend at the end of the day, you know? So it's a really important thing to think about. Also as well in your personal life then as well, it's very, very interesting to think about people in your family. Now, it's not obviously to look down your nose at anybody. It really isn't about that. It's about thinking about, okay, do I want to spend time with these people, or if I go to a party, do I want to sit next to this cousin or uncle or aunt or whatever like that? Because are our conversations going to be balanced? Are they going to be friendly? Is it going to be small talk or really, really like profound subjects that maybe some people don't want to talk about? Will it be very, very intense, or will it just be kind of like an interview where these people are sitting down asking, oh, what are you doing? How are you getting on? What's your next goal? How is your business? Instead of how are you? How's your family? How are you doing in the pandemic? Something like this. So, I mean, those kind of loaded questions tell you a lot about if that person is thinking a lot about you and thinking a lot about your success. And obviously it boils down a lot to greed and jealousy and people really not wanting the best for you. Now, obviously, I don't mean that everybody's going to be a care bearer and just be like kind of a lovey hippie all the time. But at the same time then as well, the interactions that you have with those people are really, really important because they're telling you exactly what they think of you. So there is that idea in Mexico that todos sufrimos juntos, this we all suffer together mentality. So that means then in Mexico, I mean, I think I was checking INEGI, which are like the statistics, the general statistics for all over Mexico. Some of the results I was looking at for 2021, 2022, like the newest kind of stats that I could get, would be that around 17% of Mexicans finish high school. Yeah, that would be your leaving cert in Ireland. Then out of that 17%, 12% then finish an undergraduate degree. Going to a master's, then it's about 3 to 4%. Talking about English, which is my other business here, only about 5% of Mexicans actually speak English. And out of that 5%, maybe one or two an advanced level or very, very fluently then as well. So that means if you're listening to this, you speak English, you're a Mexican, and you work in an automotive company and you've gone to university, you're very, very special. But that also means then as well, you have to be very, very careful. Who do you spend your time with? What do you spend your money on? What are the interactions like that you have? Because from my experience here, the majority of people that I speak to in the automotive industry specifically, because it's my biggest sector where I work, 9 out of 10 people would say the same thing, that, oh, now I'm the pillar of the family, or I'm the most successful and the most educated, and everybody hates me. I have no friends. Everybody really, really doesn't like me, or they refer to me as like the rich one in the family. And automatically, when you're seen as more successful or richer, or your like educational level has gone much, much higher than most people in your family, immediately they start to hate you. So I mean, that's a big, big problem then as well. It does happen in other countries, because I have lived in other countries, but it's really not as drastic or dramatic in those other countries, So I think that's a big, big thing here, is that in Mexico, as soon as you start getting out of that bucket of crabs, as soon as you're about to escape, people destroy you. They say, oh, he's really fresa, which actually for people that don't speak Spanish, this means strawberry, but it basically means snobby, okay, or big-headed. So they think that is that like, oh, he has an education, he's a stable job, he's working really hard, but he's also better than us now, or that's what he thinks of us now, is that we're less and he's superior, when really a lot of the time it's not correct. A lot of the time that what I see here in Mexico is that there's 3 sons in a family, one is the pillar and the other 2 are kind of lazy, or in Spanish they say huevón, which is like a lazy bastard in English. So that person is really sacrificing a lot of his time and then supporting everybody else in his family, because they're kind of like, oh, look, he's the successful one, I can just take from him. And it's really, really sad, but it's unfortunately very, very true. It really is.